believed it. And I want to just say, 4 years ago, and by the way, thank you for standing. I thought you were leaving. But 4 years ago, and I'll tell you why I said that, I spoke at the JJ dinner, and Senator Hollings was the honoree. And a couple of you said, well, Governor, we remember you 4 years ago. You were the featured speaker, and said to me, that was quite an evening. And I said, well, how'd you like my speech? They said, we don't know, we left. And I said, well, why was that? And, well, I just recall, if you recall, Senator Hollings was honored. He gave one of his stem winders. It went on to the point where the only two, when I gave my speech, was myself and Crawford Cook. And I asked Crawford, well, Crawford, why did you stay? He said, well, I was assigned to take you back to the hotel. So, you didn't hear me those 4 years ago. Let me just say, I'm honored to be here today with Democrats, with you. I want to also acknowledge, of course, this is an evening where we honor the Democratic governors of South Carolina, Jim Hodges, Dick Riley, Robert McNair, Ernest Hollings. We should also honor the First Ladies, because I know they were the best in the country. I think Rachel wrote the model for all the, at least I was sort of a contemporary for all the First Ladies on how to be great First Ladies. We appreciate her, and Tumke and my wife were cabinet spouses. I also want to acknowledge a member of Congress that served with me and is now your county chair, Congresswoman Liz Patterson. I felt a little guilty with Liz because she served 3 terms, and her last term, when unexpectedly, unfortunately, she was defeated, I was the deputy whip. And I always had in my mind that I felt guilty that I'd had Liz vote for an initiative of President Clinton that didn't help her. And so I was always guilty. I saw her today for the first time in several years, and I said, Liz, I always feel guilty that maybe I caused your defeat a little bit. Now she said, Bill, I didn't vote the way you wanted. So that was good. I feel so much better, especially since she's so important here. And I also want to acknowledge Senator Ralph Anderson, who I understand is a legend here. And I've got my little do's and don'ts in South Carolina. I'm told that the most powerful, legendary political figure in this area is City Councilwoman Sandine Norris, and that I better be nice to her. So I want to, again, thank you. In 2 days, our nation will once again rightfully honor a man who taught us all that a must dream of a better America, and that we must act to create equality for every man, woman, and child. And that's Dr. Martin Luther King, who died at 39, but his memory lives on. Today is a time of historic opportunity. As Governor Hodges mentioned, I chair the Democratic Governors Association, and why it's important is because it's in the states where the most innovative policies are happening on energy, on education, on healthcare. It hasn't been in the Congress where they can't do much, despite the best efforts of now Chairman John Spratt. I better start being nice to you, Spratt, so I'm starting here. And we went from 22 governors to 28, a majority. When I became chair, states with Democratic governors accounted for 207 electoral votes. And by the end of this month, they're going to be 295, and it's Ohio, it's Massachusetts, it's Arkansas. Who says Democrats cannot win across the country? So, I do believe that the American people chose us, not because we opposed Republican ideas, but because we proposed democratic ideas. And to keep their trust and to keep their will and to move our country forward, we have to deliver on that promise. And that Democratic Congress, Johnny, big burden on you, but I know you can do it to move our country in the right direction. You know, we have to keep building up the Democratic Party, not just in blue states, not just in swing states, but in every state, including South Carolina. You know, for Democrats to be a national party, we have to reach out to every voter in every region and give every one of those voters a real choice. And as a Democrat, I think we can do it if we address our strengths and build on our future. You know, they asked me, I had a little precedent. Well, what are you? I said, well, I call myself a progressive Democrat, a new progressive. Progressive Democrats, for years, have led the struggles for social justice, for civil liberties, for public education, for economic opportunity, and environmental conservation. That's why I'm a progressive Democrat. And as a new progressive, I also believe with those sound ideals, you have to have accountability, you have to have fiscal responsibility to match that commitment to opportunity. And we must not be afraid as Democrats to talk about values and our religious beliefs. We must be positive and patriotic about our country and its future. You know, as Democrats, you know, what a legacy with your 2 education governors and a Secretary of Education. We know that opportunity starts with education. If I ever get in a national race, I think education is the #1 issue affecting our country. We believe in a public education system that prepares our citizens for the jobs of the future. The first key to a good quality education is a well-paid teacher in every classroom. Not vouchers. That's why in New Mexico we dramatically increased teacher salaries. But we linked those salary increases to tough standards, the 4th highest in the country. And our teacher quality all of a sudden jumped from 30th to 17th in the country. Here I want to recognize a friend who did more for teachers in terms of raises and quality than any governor in the history of this country. And that is Governor Jim Hodges. He did it. Give him a big hand. Now the second key is to invest in every child, early and often. One of the best ways for America to close the achievement gap is through early education, preschool, pre-kindergarten, full-day kindergarten. Investing in early education, preschool, my first initiative as governor, was something I learned from the other education governor, Dick Riley, when we served in the Clinton cabinet together. Let me tell you what he did. In the year 2000, the Congress approved a Riley initiative, the entire Congress, Education Goals 2000, where we upgraded our high school curriculum, we invested in tougher standards and teacher quality, we emphasized, as he said, music, civics, languages,